Hey guys, Jim here with another video for you. This is a special video. This is a tag video that was created from Sammy G's World of Cinema. I'm going to leave his link in the description below. But this is a 4-movie cinematic lineup. What I would choose to watch 4 movies in a marathon horror movie session in the cinema. And I was tagged in this video by my good friend Carlos over at Eastwood for Life Fan. I'm going to leave his link, of course, in the bottom as well. And I've seen this tag go around to several people over in the UK. I was first brought to its attention from my good friend Roy over at Blue Roy Movies. I will also leave his information below. He's the one that tagged Carlos, as a matter of fact. But anyways, like I said, Sammy started this thing, and it's basically just picking 4 movies, 4 horror movies, that you would want to watch in a movie theater on Halloween or in Halloween time or whatever. And I decided to go a little bit different with my picks. I was noticing the picks that Carlos and Sammy and Roy, among others, had picked, and all of them, solid picks, all of them. I would love to watch any of those marathons. But I decided to go a little bit different with mine. I figured since this whole thing started overseas, I'm in the United States. This started over at Sammy's channel. He's from the UK. So I figured that I was going to do 4 movies with 2 criteria. Number 1, they're not American movies. They all originated from Europe or overseas. There's one that comes from Asia, okay? But the other 3 come from Europe. And the other criteria is, other than the fact that I really enjoy all 4 of these films, is that I did not see any of these theatrically. And I would have loved to seen all 4 of these theatrically, quite honestly, for different reasons. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. And I put these 4 in order for a reason. Now, they are totally unrelated as far as plots go. But I'll explain my method to my madness as we go along, okay? So I figured the first film should be kind of fun and scary, just to get the mood going, okay? So I picked Train to Busan from South Korea. This movie's incredible. It is just absolutely, absolutely incredible. It killed me the first time I saw this. Like I said, this movie came out in 2016 from South Korea. It was directed by Young Sang-ho, and it stars Gong Yoo and Ma Do Deng-suk, among others. I'm sorry if I'm screwing up those pronunciations. I'm a dumb American. I cannot pronounce foreign names at all. But anyways, getting back to this movie, I think it is absolutely fantastic. I generally don't like running zombie movies, and I still don't know if these people are zombies or not. This is kind of like a South Korean version of 28 Days Later, I guess. But my God, this movie not only is exciting and scary and just awesome in every way, it packs an emotional punch that I did not see coming. I've watched this movie multiple times now, and every time I watch it, I enjoy it more, and it still brings me to tears every time I see it. This movie's a masterpiece, in my opinion. I absolutely love Train to Busan. So that is the first pick on our lineup. Okay, so we had some fun, but then in the end of that movie, we had our hearts ripped out, so I figured that would be a good way to start the next couple of movies, which are pretty damn dark. This one comes from France, and it's called Inside. It was released in 2007. Really, really, really dark, hard watch movie. This one is, I'm looking at notes, by the way, so I generally don't do that during these videos, but quite honestly, with these foreign movies, I need the notes. So anyways, this one is directed by Alejandro Bustillo, and it stars Ellison Paradis and Beatrice Daly, among others. And again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering those names, but this was part of the French extremity horror that came out in the 2000s, along with Martyrs and movies like that. This movie totally caught me unguarded the first time I watched it. I did it as a rented as a blind buy from Blockbuster. And I won't go too far into the plot. It just involves a pregnant woman desperately trying to keep a maniac out of her house who is there to get her baby. And the baby is literally hours within being born. And it just adds a whole new level of dread to this movie. And this movie is dark. I mean, when I say it's dark, I mean it. It's got one of the darkest endings ever. It is bloody. It is gory. It's just not for the weakest stomach. But yeah, I love this movie. And I wish I would have seen it theatrically with an audience. Okay, now everybody is really like in a down, dark mood and this and that. So let's keep that vibe going with Wreck. This is from Spain. This movie is awesome. Absolutely awesome in every way. This one came out in 2007. It has been remade as Quarantine here in America. And that movie's fine, but it's not as good as this one. But anyways, this one, like I said, came out in 2007 from Spain. It was directed by Jaime Baliaguo and Paco Plaza and stars Manuela Velasco and Pablo Rasso. And again, I apologize if I'm butchering those names. This movie completely caught me off guard. I generally don't like found footage movies. I hate the Blair Witch Project. I mean, I've made my opinions about that movie known for years. But this one, even though it is quote unquote a found footage movie, the way it's done, where you're following a film crew into an apartment building that suddenly gets quarantined by some strange disease that's going around and turning people into I don't know what. This movie's crazy, and it's crazy good. It is so good. Again, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the found footage genre. This one is definitely one of the exceptions. It is a fantastic film. Quarantine, like I said, it's a good movie. This one's great. Also, check out the sequel if you get a chance. The sequel, I think, is just as good as this one. It takes place immediately where this one ends. But now that everybody is like really dark and depressed and just really out of it, I figured since we started this thing kind of like on a high roller coaster ride, we'd end it that way. And also because this challenge originated in the UK, I had to put a movie from the UK. And we're talking about Neil Marshall's Dog Soldiers. I friggin' love this movie so much. It is just so goddamn entertaining in every way. This one was released in 2002, like I said, written and directed by Neil Marshall, and with a great cast. Kevin McKidd, Liam Cunningham, and Sean Pertwee, among others. This is my favorite Neil Marshall film. I love The Descent. I really enjoy Doomsday. I really enjoy a couple of his movies. He's done some great work on Game of Thrones, but this movie is just balls to the wall, absolute fun. I, again, rented this as a blind through Blockbuster, actually. I read a little blurb in Fangoria magazine back in the day telling me that there was this crazy werewolf movie coming out from, the UK. And I just happened to run across it about a month later at Blockbuster and rented it and immediately called a couple of my friends and told them to get their asses over to watch this movie. This is definitely one of my top 5 werewolf movies. I mean, it really is. This movie is just balls out fun. And I put it in 4th because I figured after the previous 3 hours of just absolute darkness, you needed to come out with somewhat of a smile. So that's why I put Dog Soldiers 4th. But anyways, I want to thank Sammy over at Sammy G's World of Cinema again. I'm going to leave his link for coming up with this. I think this was just a fantastic idea. I really, really like this idea. I also want to thank my friend Carlos at Eastwood for Life Fan for tagging me in this video. And I'm going to keep the ball rolling. Hopefully the 2 guys that I tag will continue to do this. But I'm going to tag a couple of my friends in the community. Number 1, I'm going to tag Mr. Dan and Horror, and I'm going to put his information in the bottom. And my second person is going to be Eddie at Movie Collector 623. Eddie is the first person who got me involved in YouTube in the first place. So I want to throw some love his way and see if he wants to get into this. Not to mention that Eddie has a humongous horror collection, especially slashers. That's his favorite. So I'd be really interested to see what him and Dan would put together, because Dan has got a very eclectic taste in horror. And yeah, it would be really fun to see what those two go with this. And hopefully they do. So anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. Let me know what your 4-movie lineup would be. And please, I cannot stress enough, reach out and subscribe to every one of these guys that I'm going to leave their descriptions or their links in the description below. It would mean the world to me. So anyways, I hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.